Greetings! It's a King Mario!
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
He's the first president in more than 150 years to skip his successor's inauguration.
I will be watching. I will be listening.
Donald Trump is starting to lose support with white voters.
All these MAGA people are brainwashed.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will never be in the White House.
President Trump, if you see this, please save us.
God has voted.
Blame it on a Trump supporter.
This is America. This is our land.
Have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you.
What you say?
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Some Ray Charles on your asses. The legendary, actually, Ray Charles singing one of his hits, one of his many hits. Ray Charles, man, that's about as legendary and classic as it gets when we're talking about music. So if you guys aren't fans of Ray Charles and you haven't heard some of his stuff, definitely would recommend that you guys go check out some Ray Charles, man. Take it from your boy, man. Go hit up the YouTube or the Spotify, wherever it is that you get your music. And hey, man, check out some Ray Charles, man. Definitely won't be disappointed. And like I said, the guy's great. So welcome back, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome back to the Battleborn podcast. My name is Mario Salinas, and check it out. We got video now. I've been in the lab, just working, man, cooking this up and getting things ready. And man, it's really fucking awesome, man, to see the podcast, just growing and getting bigger and doing better. And we're keeping it pushing and keeping it moving. And I really gotta just, express my appreciation to all of you guys out there that have been listening and interacting with the show and just, helping me keep this thing going and keep having fun with it. And I'm having a great time, man. It's still absolutely fun for me, man. It's a joy to do it. It's it's really fun to just rant and rave about the things that I find interesting and the things that are on my mind, and then just, like I said, interact with you guys and take your questions and your emails and the people that I interact with on the social medias. And it's been pretty fucking awesome, man. And like I said, I'm so thankful, so appreciative to all of you guys out there listening. Thank you for tuning in and joining us here on the podcast for another week. And man, let's get right to it and let's get the show started. Let's go ahead and begin with this week's quote of the week, and fitting, seeing as that this was the week that we celebrated the 1 year anniversary of the tragic death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and everyone, all the passengers that were on that helicopter that day last year. This week's quote of the week is from the man himself, the Black Mamba, Kobe Bean Bryant, and this is actually one of my favorite quotes, which holds a little bit of a special significance to me, because it just really, it hits home for me, and these are just great words and a good model to live by. And actually, if you guys go to my my personal Instagram page right there, you guys will see that this quote is actually listed as my bio. But I'm gonna go ahead and read this quote of the week here for the podcast to begin the show. It is by Kobe Bryant, and the quote reads: "Once you know what failure feels like, determination chases success." And yeah, man, definitely a good one. One of Kobe's many great quotes. And there's so many others. You guys go look them up. Kobe always dropping wisdom, always speaking facts. And we will get into more on the Kobe Bryant tribute a little bit later on the show. And like I said, paying our tribute to him. And as well as other things to talk about. There's a lot going on. So let's go ahead and get right to it, man. So yeah, since the last time I talked to you guys, we're about a week into the Biden and Kamala Harris administration, and Donald Trump is no longer the president of the United States, guys. But yeah, like I said, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were officially sworn in, as, Joe Biden being the 46th president of the United States, Kamala Harris becoming the first female vice president of the United States. And, man, it's crazy. Like, Look, I'm happy, to see Trump out of the White House. Politics is my interest, so that's, a lot of what I talk about on the show, especially given, the climate and everything that's been going on for the last few months. I mean, you guys, if you've been listening to the show the last few weeks, you know how I feel about Trump and wanting him to get out of the White House and not be president, and, kind of my settled vote for Joe Biden, just because, I mean, let's just face it, I only had two options and I wasn't going to vote for Trump. But, I mean, seeing that Trump is out of the White House, I mean, honestly, I'm happy, but I'm not like through the roof overjoyed, you know what I mean? I'm not like fanboying out for, Joe Biden, becoming the president. It's just more like, I feel like a sense of relief, you know what I mean? That, it just feels like, granted, whatever, I know there's a lot of opposition to the Democrats and Biden, and, there's, we'll get into some of that in a little bit later on the show, but it just feels like there's actually competent adults, back running the government, the way it should be. Not saying that I agree with everything totally 100%, because obviously I don't, not even with Biden, and I voted for the man, and, I'll talk about, some of my disagreements with him, and, we'll, go down that road, but like I said, man, it just honestly feels like, what was the last thing that Trump said? Does anyone even know? Like, we haven't even heard from him since, Inauguration Day, which has been pretty fucking great, man. And like I said, like, it was just a really, really long 4 years of this Trump administration, just with the constant week after week, just one controversy after another, all the nonsense, all the dumb shit that he said on almost a daily basis. How many lies did he average in a day? There was actually a count that came out, and I think, man, the final count of these last 4 or 5 years of Donald Trump was like adding up to somewhere around like 30,000 lies or something like that. And it might even be more. I might have gotten that number wrong, but it was just like a massive number. And it's just like if you average it out by the day, it was like this guy was lying multiple times in a day. So to not have to constantly hear like, what did Trump say? What did he do today? What kind of crazy shit is he going to start today? It's like, it's a relief to have a calmer, more steady feel back in the White House, because it's actually kind of a breath of fresh air that Joe Biden is kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that, people shouldn't be paying attention and understanding what's going on. And, like I said, we'll talk about, some of the stuff that's going on, here in the show coming up. But, I mean, dude, it's just, Donald Trump left the White House for the last time, and seeing that visual of him just leaving and knowing that he wasn't going to come back, and, he was going to lose all his powers, and, at this point, there's nothing like, he's in no real position to, create any more havoc than, what he has left this country in over these last 4 years, like I said. But, like I said, it was such a relief to see that guy fucking leave the White House. And actually, on Inauguration Day, on Inauguration Day, he left the White House a little early. Usually the president would leave, or the incumbent president would leave early, and, kind of be part of the whole inauguration activities for the day, and transitioning the new president in. But Trump, just obviously still butthurt that he lost the election and not being able to come to grips with reality. Like I said, he lost the popular vote by 7 million. He lost the electoral college by a comfortable margin. I mean, it wasn't close. It wasn't a massive blowout for Joe Biden, and yes, Donald Trump, he did, brought in the coalition for the Republicans, and hey man, like I said, not for nothing, the man brought out 74 million voters, so nothing to scoff at and thumb your nose at. I mean, that is impressive in any political field. But Joe Biden won this election, man. It hands down, it's not even arguable at this point. And the people who do argue it, I mean, you just look fucking ridiculous, to be honest. It's getting sad to this point. Anyone at this point still thinking that, that there's some kind of mass hidden conspiracy plan, a coup that's going to occur, that's going to allow, or that's going to, force Biden out of office, and that's going to allow Trump to go back in. I mean, what world are you living in? I mean, that is hardcore QAnon shit right there. And, we'll talk a little bit about that, also here upcoming on the show. But, like I said, so Trump didn't participate in the inauguration, and, he wasn't, like I said, he was just all up in his shit because, he can't handle the fact that he lost the election. But what Trump decided to do was, he wanted like this big, farewell send-off, right? Like he wanted, just to have like some kind of big event to be like one last hurrah. And he flew down to Joint Base Andrews over there in Florida, where he was supposed to give this, final farewell address. And I think he was expecting it to be some kind of big, big event. And man, it was one of the fucking saddest, most pathetic things I've ever seen in my life, man. Like I think they said that the turnout for that farewell speech, not only just the turnout, but the speech within itself was, just, a bunch of the same nonsense that he's been spewing for the last few months. But, except for, him actually having to admit publicly that, a new administration was coming in. But they said that there was like 200 people that turned out to this thing, which, number might not strike any of you guys, but for me, it's like we're talking about a guy who's bringing like 30,000 people to, freezing temperature rallies, in these, battleground states. And, Trump won Florida, pretty handily. He won Florida by a comfortable margin. So, him choosing that as his location to give his farewell address. And, obviously he's moving down there. He's leaving New York post his presidency, and he's going to be a resident of Florida now. But man, like, it was, like I said, the visual of it was fucking pretty sad, man. It looks so pathetic, and Trump has to be like, behind the scenes fuming over that look and that turnout, because it became a joke on social media. Like, dude, like, no one came to this thing. Like, everyone was at the inauguration. Everyone was going to pay attention to the inauguration. Nobody gave a damn at this point what Trump had to say. You know what I mean? He gave a really weak speech, trying to tout all of his accomplishments, or, in my opinion, his non-accomplishments. But, I was talking to a friend, right, the other day, and we were having the discussion. Like, I don't know their political affiliations. I don't know who they voted for, or if they even voted at all. But, we were just having kind of just a brief political discussion, right? And, I kind of was thinking in my head, like, the question came up for me, like, what did Trump really do in these last 4 years? Like what big change did he really make? Like, did he really do anything? I mean, most of the stuff that he was able to do was kind of executive order stuff, which is already being undone by Biden, real quick, like we'll talk about those executive actions. But I mean, Biden wasted no time and reversing a lot of the, Trump policies and Trump initiatives and directives. So I'm trying to think the stuff that Biden can't really, just like with an executive order overturn and stop right now. Like, what did Trump really do? And in terms of like his campaign promises that he won on back in 2016, there is no wall. Or, I should say, the wall wasn't built in full as he said it would be, and Mexico damn sure didn't pay for it. They didn't pay a dime, towards that wall, and that was probably the hallmark of the 2016 Trump campaign, that you elect me, I'm going to build a southern border on the entire southern border, between America and Mexico. It's going to be 2,000 miles. It's going to be 10, 20, 30, 50 feet long. It changed every week. And, and then the big one was that Mexico was going to pay for it, which obviously we know now that Trump is gone, that none of those things happened. You know what I mean? Like, his most important campaign issue didn't come to fruition. Like, not for nothing, don't get me wrong. Like, it turns out that, this has been reported on, but, Trump actually shifted money that was, I believe, budgeted or allocated to the defense budget, and he kind of reallocated that money towards the southern border wall project. But in all, man, we're talking about like, out of 2,000 miles that Trump promised, we're talking about maybe a few hundred a few hundred, miles of wall that was done, and it's not all wall. Some of it is just fencing, and a lot of what was done during these Trump years was a lot of repair work. Like, I mean, there was some sections of wall and fencing built that wasn't there previously, but a majority of this was just, like I said, rebuilding, reinforcing. It wasn't like a big, massive project. And what Trump was able to do on it, within his time in office, I mean, it cost a fortune, man. Like, how many billions did we pour into this fucking thing and didn't get done? And, like I said, it was something that nobody asked for. Nobody ever asked for a 2,000-mile border wall. I'm not saying that border security isn't asking for more tools and more funding to, secure the border properly. But nobody was asking for a 2,000 mile long wall. You know what I mean? And just the logistics of it was just impossible. And yet Trump was able to sell it to that base of his. And I mean, that didn't get done. And like I said, I was talking to my friend and I was like, well, he didn't make the wall. He didn't repeal and replace Obamacare, which was another hallmark of his campaign. That was the big one. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. And, he was going to come up with a big, beautiful, new health plan that was going to, lower the cost of drugs and make healthcare more affordable. And that never happened. He never even so much as released a plan, of what, or a semblance of what his healthcare plan would look like. Remember? It became a running joke. Like, every time you ask him about his plan, where's the plan? What are the details? What's in your plan? It's always like, oh, you're going to see. You're going to see. In 2 weeks, we're going to release more information. But, never released a plan. Even still, to this point, he's out of the White House and never released a plan. Not even an idea of what he thought healthcare should be in this country, right? And not even the Republicans. You know what I mean? The Republicans have been trying to get rid of this damn Obamacare for going on maybe a decade now. It's been 10 years? 10 years since we had that thing passed. And they're still have no idea what they want to replace. They know they want to repeal it. They just don't know what they want to replace it with. So, I mean, nothing on the healthcare front. There was no, real large, infrastructure, built or repaired or improved. There was nothing, no big projects like that done. I mean, he approved that Keystone pipeline, and Biden's already put a halt to that with another executive order. We'll talk about that. But and then he started spewing off some stuff that, when I came into office, the military was so bad. It was so underfunded. It was so poor. And not until I came in and I fixed the military, I really took care of these soldiers and the military, and I treated them right. And I gave them the things that, that they needed in order to succeed. Like, really, bro? You fixed the military. Let me tell you something, man. The military is just about now just as overfunded under you as it was under, pretty much any president before you. You were entirely, what's the right word for it? Just a cuck. Just like every other president before you for the military, with, the way that the defense is, or the funding for the defense is just totally blown up. Money that they don't even need is being poured into them. And, anytime that's the funny thing, right? Anytime it's for the military and, the defense bill, it's just like, the purse is limitless, right? We can pour however many millions and billions of dollars into, under the guise of, building up the military. But as soon as you want to, initiate, some kind of program that's going to cost money, but would go on to help people, with like education, or social safety net programs, it's like, we can't afford this. The deficit, the debt, the deficit, we can't afford this. We can't afford to help people. Are you kidding me? Man, you gotta love these trickle-down economics by these Republicans, man. But, dude, with Trump, I mean, as far as the military goes, it was just, as far as I can see, a continuation of the military-industrial complex apparatus that has been in place for, I don't know, even how far do we go back? 9/11? Before that, Vietnam? just, man, I mean, like, what did Trump really do? I mean, he created the Space Force, and oh man, it's just I can't even say it without laughing, man. That the Space Force, it sounds like a bad season of the Power Rangers or something, like Power Rangers Space Force. Oh man, and I mean, there's even questions about what's Biden gonna do with that. Like, is Biden gonna continue on with the Space Force? Is he gonna just maybe, I don't know, disband it? Because, like, we do have actual other problems going on in the world now. We do have a global pandemic that we're still trying to take care of, which, by the way, we're at, all-time record deaths and coronavirus infections at the moment. And, like, is the Space Force where our focus should be right now? Like, let's build up a space military. Never mind that there's a global pandemic and an economic collapse going on, and millions and millions of Americans are absolutely hurting right now. But let's focus on the Space Force. Like I said, man, there's even questions as to what Biden's gonna do with it. I don't think he's actually, or he's been even asked, what his plans going forward with the Space Force is. My guess is that at some point we're going to hear that he's going to probably disband the project or the idea altogether. Like, we have military. We, like I say, I just ranted about it. We have these overinflated defense bills, and the military is not hard up for cash right now. So, I mean, securing space right now probably should not be a priority on the agenda. But like I said, man, you never know. We'll see what Biden decides to do with that. But I mean, as far as Trump goes, like I said, what promises did he keep? He never released his tax returns. I mean, he's still being audited 5 years later, which actually, in this case, I actually think he might actually be being audited for real. Just, because, I mean, like I said, man, if my prediction was true, right, my guess is that there's a lot of shadiness, that goes on with Trump and how he does his taxes and the loopholes that he uses. And he's probably not doing everything 100% legitimately. His former lawyer, Michael Cohen, pretty much said so in a congressional hearing when he was questioned by, I believe it was AOC, right? It was during one of the House hearings that Michael Cohen had, who is, obviously Trump's former attorney. And I think she asked him, like, hey, is Trump, fudging the numbers? When we're talking about taxes, is that why he's hiding his taxes so bad? Because he fudges his numbers? And the lawyer pretty much said, yeah, that's exactly why. She said, so he's basically, when he needs money, he inflates his assets to make it look like he's this big, ballin' rich fuck. But, when it comes to pony up and actually pay the bill, he deflates his assets and declares bankruptcy. That's what he does, right? He takes advantage of the, the loopholes in the tax laws. And the lawyer said, yeah, that's what he's doing. And honestly, if the guy is not president right now, if he wasn't president at that time, he'd be totally open and subject to investigation over the criminality of his finances. With like 100%. That even came out of the Mueller report and the Russia special counsel, if you guys remember. He said, hey man, like, they asked him point blank, if he wasn't the president right now, would you guys be going after him? And he said, yes, we'd be going after that motherfucker. And like, I mean, never even showed his taxes, man. And I'm just saying, like, not for nothing, I'll be honest with you guys, like, it's comforting to know that we have a president in the White House who actually releases his tax returns. Like, you guys can go look at Biden's tax returns whenever you want. As a matter of fact, they're right there. Yeah, see that? All 38 pages of that thing. And, I mean, you can go look that up. Like, at least shows, I mean, that doesn't prove, obviously, that Biden isn't, a corrupt politician in person, and that he hasn't used, loopholes and benefited off the system himself. I'm sure he has, and if he ever, I mean, like I said, I'm not a sycophant, I'm not a cult member, so if it ever comes out that Biden committed some kind of, criminality or something that, would he be any other person that, he'd be subject to a criminal investigation? I say open the investigation. Open up the floodgates, man. Investigate everybody. Investigate Biden, investigate Trump, investigate Hillary, investigate them all. You know what I mean? Because there was something to the message of drain the swamp, and that should be the direction, man. We got to get all these swamp creatures out of there. But not like that ever really held water, coming from Donald Trump, who was the swampiest of them all. He was right there in that class with all those guys. He was the most corrupt, in my opinion. The Trump organization, not just Donald Trump himself, but the entire family, the organization is as corrupt as it gets, in this country. So, you know what I mean? That guy has no right to talk about anyone else being corrupt. You know what I mean? Trump, I remember this joke by Bill Maher that says the only time that corruption bothers Trump is when he's not in on it. So, I mean, dude, he never locked up Hillary. He doesn't even talk about her anymore. When's the last time you heard Joe Biden talk about crooked Hillary Clinton? And which is funny because now, with all these investigations being opened up on Trump, I like this conservative media talking point now that, so I guess these Democrats are dictators now. They're gonna investigate and jail their political rivals. Now that Trump is out of office, they're gonna investigate him and they're gonna try to charge him with crimes, and that's what they do in third world countries. Meanwhile, back in 2016, if you guys remember, it wasn't so long ago that Trump was on the campaign trail saying, "Vote for me and I'll lock her up." Remember that? Lock her up, lock her up. When did candidate Trump at the time ever come out and say, "Look, that's what they do in third world countries, right? They jail their political rivals. I just want to win the election fair and square, and that's not the road I'm going down." No, it was like, lock her up, lock her up. You think these same conservatives were expressing that same sentiment when Trump was running for president? I mean, do I even need to answer that? So, I mean, what did Trump do, man? I think, a lot of people try to portray Trump as being some kind of great or, a great president for the economy, but all things considered, man, his economy wasn't even stronger than Obama's. Trump was supposed to be the jobs president, right? And turns out that Obama actually created more jobs than Trump. Obama had a stronger economy in terms of, GDP and job creations than Trump ever had. The peak or the best that we've done in recent, in these last 10, 12, give or so years was under the Obama administration. How about that? So, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, man, I don't know what Trump really did, in his time in office. And one of the things that really just, pisses me off, not so much that he did it because I would expect it from him, but the lack of, outrage from, the people on his side was, one of Trump's early, executive orders when he became president was, he signed this executive order that, pretty much meant that when people were done with their time in the government, they were banned from lobbying for, I believe it was 5 years. So 5 years after, you complete a government job, you're banned from lobbying, right? Which is an effort to drain the swamp and, get all these, political elites out of government and stop letting, big money and special interest, rule, Washington. And on his way out the door, man, at the last hour, he reversed his own executive order. He reversed his own order to ban government officials from lobbying for 5 years after they were out of the government. So much for drain the swamp. I mean, that is about the swampiest fucking move that you could make, in my opinion. So where's the outrage from the conservatives who are so upset about Biden and everything that Biden is doing now? And I mean, where is this narrative now? Or where is it that Trump transformed the country or changed things? I mean, what did he really do? I honestly really, really don't know. I mean, as far as I can see going down the list, it's not a lot of promises kept that I can see. I mean, other than, he got his, tax reform, which was basically a tax cut for the rich, or the majority of the benefits for his tax cut went to the rich and the wealthy, while they threw scraps at everybody else and called it even. So, I mean, if I can give anything, if I can give anything to Trump's credit, to just be objective and fair about it, if there's any good takeaways that I can take from his term in office, I mean, obviously the most glaring one is that he didn't start any new wars. I mean, even though, granted, he didn't exactly do much to stop the current ones from going, he actually kept them going, like, like just like Obama did. But I mean, I guess we can say that it was good that he didn't start a new war. But I mean, come on, guys, another 4 years, that guy very clearly could have. You never know. The way he egged on other dictators and other world leaders. I mean, who knows if that guy would have ever started a war, especially, I mean, my concern would have been that he would have, tried to pop off with Iran. I think that's what his ultimate end game, was to start a war with them. But thankfully he wasn't able to get that far, or even if that's not what he wanted to do, thankfully he, like I said, he didn't start any new wars. So that's a good thing. You know what I mean? So that's one good takeaway I can, express about, Donald Trump's time in office. And, I mean, he did make some progress with the Middle East. I mean, granted, we don't really know, he had these, he had some success with getting these, peace deals in the Middle East going. And, look, that's a good thing, just because it's Donald Trump, and obviously he wasn't my choice for president and I wanted him out of the White House, I'm not going to sit here and act like nothing good came out of his administration, right? Just the same way I treated Obama, like, I liked Obama. I supported Obama. If I could have, I would have voted for him again. I mean, if it was over Trump or Hillary and Biden, I mean, think about it to yourselves. If it was between all these guys, Biden, Trump, Hillary, Obama, who would you pick out of those four that would make you the most comfortable? To me, I think the overwhelming amount of people would say Obama. Obama, he's the smart guy, he's very educated. He is he presents like a very calm style of holding the office of the president. And, there was something, that I think a lot of people really appreciated about, his calmness and the way he, his approach to, to government. But, doesn't mean that everything was all good. Like, there's lots of stuff about the Obama years that I wasn't with, and like I said, with the Middle East, it was that and immigration are like two of the most glaring failures of the Obama years. So doesn't mean everything was good, doesn't mean everything was bad either. You know what I mean? There was some success that Obama brought to the table. I mean, the economy, for once, saving the economy from yet another Republican recessions because, again, of trickle-down economics, which is never going to work in this country, but Republicans are convinced and hell-bent on making sure that that's the way that our system runs. But, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that Trump did that would be a good takeaway? Oh, I could say that, he ordered those strikes that, killed the, the terrorists. He ordered the terrorist strikes like it was Soleimani and Baghdadi, and, he ordered those strikes. And those are good things. Look, the same way when Obama ordered the strike on Osama bin Laden, like, you give a president credit when they do something right. That's a move that I would expect any president to make. Right? Like, is it controversial? I mean, obviously, not with a lot of Americans, but, throughout the world. I mean, yeah, it's a controversial move, but that's one of those things when you're an American, it's like, well, that was the right thing. It doesn't matter that it was Obama that made the call. It doesn't matter that Trump was the one that made the call. So let me put it to you like this. I mean, look, neither of these guys did any dirt, right? They didn't actually go and, kill anyone. They just made the order, right? Like, yes, go, I give you approval, go and take out this terrorist. But I mean, we give presidents credit, right? When they make a good decision. And the same way, like I said, like when Obama made that decision to take out bin Laden, I think most Americans were like, that was the right decision to make. Trump made the same decision with Baghdadi and these guys. I mean, the right decision to make. Obviously, he's not very diplomatic or as diplomatic as Obama was, in his approach. And, Trump doesn't know just when to say when and just try to keep the peace and calm tensions. But, those were good moves, and I will give him that to his credit. So I won't take everything away from Donald Trump. He did actually get the new NAFTA deal, right? What is it? I believe it's the USMCA, the United States Mexico Canada agreement, and which is the new trade deal that we're living on, or the trade deal between the Northern American countries, Mexico, us, and Canada. And man, like, you know what I can say for Donald Trump to his credit is I can almost appreciate how he had like, I mean, everybody has their own style, but this guy like created his own style, right? Donald Trump, with just the way he just kind of, you know, you just let the guy loose and let him talk. He's eventually going to tell you what he really thinks. You know, he's going to really tell you how he feels about an issue. He's going to give it to you, and you're going to know where he stands at some point. You just let the guy keep talking. So I can almost appreciate, like, in a sense, like almost an unfiltered honesty that he brought to the table, right? That I could have appreciated, you know, that I would appreciate from any other president. Like, whether or not I agree, like, it's important that we at least know where you stand on the issue. So, like I said, between his tweets and you know, all his you know, his helicopter press conferences and you know, just all the dumb shit he would say on a regular basis, like I said, you let the guy talk, he's eventually going to tell you where he stands on any given particular issue. So like to see more of that, you know, going forward with more politicians, where maybe not so, you know, maybe not so like hateful and you know, I'm not going to call Trump a racist, but I'll say he definitely peddled in racist rhetoric. You know what I mean? I don't know what's in his heart. I don't know how he really feels about people, and you know, I'm not his fucking psychiatrist, so I don't know how he really feels about, you know, other races. You know, he certainly, you know, tried to win them over. So I mean, you know, he picked up a lot of you know, African American support and Latino support more than any other Republican before him. So you know, Trump was out there working for it, man, and he was really trying to build that coalition. But honestly, man, it's just like, you guys know how I feel. I mean, the man was a horrible president. You know, I don't think he really genuinely cares about the, you know, the needs and what's important to, you know, real regular Americans like myself. You know, he doesn't care about working families. Not, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think he gives a damn about the single mother with 2 kids, you know, struggling to stretch out $2,000, you know, every couple of weeks. And I mean, Trump doesn't know about the struggle. He's never had to struggle a day in his life. You know, when has he ever had to struggle about anything? You know, Trump's never had it hard. And, you know, he can't understand what, you know, regular, average, everyday, you know, American citizens are going through. So in that sense, I just always felt he was so out of touch with people that, I mean, he doesn't know what's important to people. Like, he thinks, you know, just fighting on these culture issues like, you know, the fight between saying Merry Christmas and you know, Happy Holidays, or the, you know, the protest going on in the NFL and Colin Kaepernick, like, you know, or you know, the stuff with Hunter Biden. Like, this is the stuff that Trump cares about. This is what he thinks is important. You know, he thinks this is what everyday people are talking about, when it's like, no, dude, what we're talking about is, you know, this government fucking sucks because they refuse to get off their asses and actually do the work and make deals and talk to each other and work together to make things happen that will help actual Americans who need it the most. You know, but no, we have a government full of rich fucks. We got a government full of millionaires being, you know, run by millionaires, trying to tell, you know, average everyday citizens what's important to them. You know, it's like, in what system is that going to work? You know, so, I mean, like I said, man, you know, I don't want to rant too long about Donald Trump. He's the past now. He's out of office, which is great. You know, all I will say is, I mean, Trump is entering his post-presidency now, and I mean, what his future is going to hold at this point, guys, I mean, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? He like I said, he's got the impeachment trial coming up in a couple of weeks in February. It was, you know, delayed so the Congress could work on getting Biden's, you know, cabinet set up and getting all his nominees pointed through, because that stuff has to go through the Congress. And I mean, past the impeachment, man, this guy also has criminal investigations in the state of New York through the Southern District attorney over there. And who knows what's going to happen there, man, because, you know, now we know those are state crimes, and, you know, he wasn't able, like, it was said that Trump didn't give himself a pardon. After all, like, I actually thought he was going to give himself the pardon. I was on that train. Like, yeah, it's going to be like the last thing he does, like, pardon me, pardon all my family, and, we're out. But, no, man, as far as it was reported as of, me recording this podcast, man, he did not give himself the pardon. So, I mean, who knows what's going to come up from that, but even a pardon wouldn't have stopped these, district attorneys in New York from investigating him. And now, like I said, now that he's not the president, and now he doesn't fall under this Justice Department guideline that says you cannot, indict a sitting president, like, hey, man, who knows what's gonna come up from this? Like, I don't know really where the state of New York's investigation is gonna go, because like I said, like, I'm sure something's gonna come out of that, because I just believe that Trump is dirty. He's a dirty politician. He's a dirty, corrupt businessman. He always has been. He always will be. He'll go to his grave being that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know what's gonna come out of that. But as far as the impeachment goes, I mean, look, man, I'm not expecting much to come out of this impeachment trial, right? It's probably going to be similar to the last one, except for the fact that the Democrats are going to run it now. So, I mean, who knows what we'll learn? What more information will come out from the insurrection on January 6th, because with Democrats actually running the trial, I'm sure they're going to bring in witnesses. They're going to run this impeachment. They're going to drag it out, right? And like, what are we going to learn from that? Who knows? But as far as convicting Trump, like, look, man, you never know. I mean, within this whole thing, it could be possible that, we do end up learning some information that incriminates Trump. And, it could be so bad that Republicans have really no choice but to convict. But I mean, I don't think so, man. Like, I don't see it coming. I don't, like, every Democrat would have to vote to convict, which they probably will. Plus, I think you would have to get about, 16, 17 Republicans to cross ranks and vote for the conviction alongside the Democrats. And I mean, where are you going to get those votes from, guys? Let's think about it. Like, damn near every, Republican in leadership in the Senate has already came out and signaled that they're totally against the impeachment and they're going to vote against it. They don't, case closed to them as far as they're concerned. Like, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to have a trial. They don't even want to hold the trial, nonetheless, convict Donald Trump, because, they want to, play to his base, and they don't want to lose that support, because they know they're going to need that in order, going forward, in order to, win politically or win elections. So, I mean, you're not going to get 17 Republicans to cross over, man. Like I can see maybe the Democrats getting 5 at the most, right? 5 Democrats that'll come over, and it'll be your usuals, man. Your usual crossovers, guys like Mitt Romney, who voted for the impeachment in the first go round. He was the only Republican that I believe broke ranks and voted for the impeachment in the Senate. So he'll probably do so again, right? Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and even Mitch McConnell, surprisingly, who's, the guy's got to be fucking upset with Trump, man. Like Mitch McConnell had all this power in the government and in the Senate just like a month ago, and now he's cast away in the minority of the Senate, and the Republicans don't have the House, they don't have the White House, they don't have anything. They've lost total control to the Democrats. So and given that and the things he's been saying over the weeks, like, listen, don't expect Mitch McConnell to suddenly grow a spine and a conscience and all of a sudden come out to do the right thing. Like, wouldn't surprise me in the least if he votes to acquit Trump too. So, like, don't fall too much into, a lot of the, angry sentiments that Mitch McConnell has put out there, because, I mean, like I said, I'm sure the guy's angry, and, I don't think he ever really liked Trump. You know what I mean? He just kind of used him to benefit himself, right? To get his judges through, all these conservative judges, talk about, stacking the court. The Republicans have been stacking the court for years. You know what I mean? So, but, there's a chance maybe a guy like that would cross over and just say, since, I already won my election, you know what I mean? Mitch McConnell's not going anywhere. He won this year, his election, his re-election for the Senate. And, Trump is leaving. I mean, maybe he'll just say, you know what, I'll vote to convict. I mean, it's not like it's going to go anywhere anyway. There's not enough other Republicans that are going to do the same. And, you know, I do believe that Trump incited a mob to cause or, you know, cause an insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th. So he might just say, so yeah, I'll vote to impeach him, you know, to convict him. But even with me, I mean, that's not enough that you need here in the Senate, and it's probably just going to die right there, right? So I don't see too much coming really out of this impeachment. It's like I said, I think it's just going to kind of go down the same way it did last time. Not saying I'm against the impeachment. I said it in the last show. I think it's the correct move. You know what I mean? You got to hold Donald Trump accountable for what he did. So the impeachment is the correct move, but after that's done, man, I think the correct move, or the even better move to make, was just to hold a majority vote in the Senate, you know, under the guise of the 14th Amendment that says that Trump, you know, led an insurrection against the United States government, and, you know, just with a simple majority, you know. So if they get 50-50, you know, Democrats and Republicans in the Senate, Kamala can come in and cast a deciding vote in favor, you know, of that majority that says, you know, we will not let Trump run for political office anymore, and then that's that. You know what I mean? That's what they should do. They should, whatever they got to do to make sure this guy doesn't, you know, come back and try to run again and ever try to, you know, run for president again. Because, dude, I don't know if we can handle that again. I don't know if we can handle another Trump campaign, and imagine if he won again. Imagine if that guy became the president a second time. So, I mean, listen, it's not just a partisan, you know, just ban him from, you know, ever being able to be president again. No, man, I think that's the correct consequence for what he did. The guy led an insurrection against his own government. So, yeah, man, he's definitely got to pay some kind of consequence for that. But, you know, in his post-presidency, man, he's talking about, you know, creating a new party, right? The Patriot Party is what they're going to call it. And, I mean, look, dude, all things considering, I think the Democrats hear this stuff and they're just like, oh my God, I hope, please go start another party and just fracture your already fractured Republican Party. And, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I mean, there's no way around it. If Trump actually goes and creates another party and you know, it becomes like a legitimate party or that stands a chance in winning elections and winning primaries, I mean, what are you going to do when you get to the generals, you know, when you get to national elections, man? Because you're going to divide your base of voters, you know, between these two parties, between Republicans or traditional Republicans and this Patriot Party. And, you know, whose support you're going to need is all these people that you've been calling rhinos for the last 4 years. And rhino, obviously, as an acronym for Republican in name only. A lot of the Trump supporters, you know, use that word whenever any Republican says any small, slightest cross thing about Trump, they're all of a sudden a rhino. So it doesn't matter how conservative and Republican they've been, or how long they've been, you know, you cross Donald Trump even in the slightest least, then all of a sudden you're a fucking rhino. So, I mean, how about this? A plot twist. Maybe the Republicans or the Trump and the Trump Republicans were the rhinos all along. Something to think about. But, I mean, you would need those rhinos, man, in order to win. So if you're just going to fracture your own party, if you think that's the smart move to make, then like I said, by all means, because it's going to be another advantage for these Democrats to keep winning elections and holding office, which, like I said, man, I'm not a shill for the Democratic Party. I have my own many issues with the Democratic Party, but right now that's who I'm rolling with, man, because like I said, I only get two choices, and one is clearly worse than the other by a mile, and it's not even close. So right now, I'm siding with the left on a lot of things, and I'm voting for them, and I mean, what are you gonna do, man? And I mean, I even question how much support, you know, Trump could get, you know, in starting a new party. I mean, I think he's fooling himself if he thinks all these just QAnon people are just gonna all of a sudden, you know, jump ship and support him now, you know, post everything that happened after the insurrection at the Capitol. And, you know, it was even being reported that a lot of these Q members are starting to turn on Trump because of how he handled everything, after the Capitol Hill riots. And, a lot of these people caught, a lot of people that were there and stormed the Capitol were starting to, they were starting to be identified, and they're being caught, they're being arrested, they're being charged, some of them with federal crimes, some of them with, less serious, but still, pretty heavy crimes. And, I mean, a lot of these people, I think they believe that Trump was gonna forgive them or grant them all pardons on his way out the door, and he pardoned nobody. That was part of the insurrection. Like none of his supporters that he incited to go, storm the Capitol. He didn't pardon none of them. He just, he threw them under the bus and left them hanging out to dry. You know what I mean? And like I said, there's a lot of these QAnon people that are just, they're losing or they've lost support in Trump because they see shit like, he didn't pardon any of them, but, he grants these last minute pardons to Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. And, I mean, it's crazy, man, because, the Q people are saying that, he turned his back on them, which, I mean, guys, he turned his back on you a long fucking time ago. I mean, do you remember this guy? Remember the Capitol shaman who, he was big internet meme going around when this whole insurrection happened? Yeah. Turns out this guy, was completely disappointed, because Trump didn't grant him any kind of pardon or clemency for his crimes. And he, quote, now feels duped, by Trump. And, it's like, really now, man? Now you feel like, hey, now it's dawned on you, like, maybe this Trump guy maybe he was kind of full of shit. It's just now hitting you. Bro, we've been telling you this for like months, years, really, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, man, the Q people right now, they just seem lost and confused, but, I mean, is the fever breaking? I hope so, man. I mean, if you're honestly out there and you think that Trump is gonna find a way to come and save you and protect you, I mean, really, is that where you're at right now? Like, this guy? That's your savior, and that's the guy who's supposed to come in and save the entire country, and that's who's gonna bring America and make us great again. That guy. I mean, I don't know the people who are still falling into all that, man. I don't know where or what world you're living in, to be honest, man. I don't know, I don't know really anything I can say to help you, man. It just, some people just can't be helped, right? And they're just going to believe anything that they're told, and, and they're not going to be swayed otherwise. So, I mean, I'm sure there's still there's still some of these Trump hardcore still out there, and, they're going to ride with him no matter what, and they'll never accept Biden fully as the president. They'll always think that the election was stolen. Like, I do believe that there's a lot of people out there that genuinely believe that the election was stolen, even though it wasn't. But, I mean, I think most people, for the most part, right now, they know that, I mean, like I've said on the show how many times, guys, it's fucking over. That 2020 election is the past. It's all behind us. Like, the inauguration is behind us. Biden is president now. Trump is out. Biden is in. It's a new day. And honestly, man, I hope it's the last time that, I hope it's the last Trump speech that we're going to hear for a while. You know what I mean? It's like, usually when, you lose an election on that stage, it's like the loser just kind of, you go away for a little while, right? Nobody wants to hear from you. Nobody wants to, like, same with Hillary 4 years ago. Like, when she lost, for me, automatically, man, it just kind of like, all right, you lost, get out of here. I don't want to hear you every day. You know what I mean? It's not about you anymore. And, I mean, look, the losers have that period of time, but, we'll see, what's in store for the Trump's future, and, for him and his family. Like, who knows what's going to happen there, and where they're all going to go from here, if they're even going to still be involved politically, which I'm sure they will be in some capacity. But, like I said, man, Trump and his family are finally out of the White House. The inauguration actually went pretty good for Joe Biden. Trump didn't go, like I said, but everybody else was there. All the Democrats in Congress, all the Republicans, Mike Pence, who didn't go to Trump's farewell but went to the inauguration and became kind of the figure standing in for Trump, right, to be the representation for the peaceful transition of power to Trump, or to Biden, excuse me. And look, man, like I said, Mike Pence, again, is not one of these guys that, look, credit where credit is due. These last few weeks, Mike Pence handled himself with class, and, he did all the right things, starting, at the, when the insurrection happened, like, it seemed like Trump wasn't even president anymore, right? It was just kind of like, all right, well, Joe Biden can't be president until the 20th, so Mike Pence is kind of on you, man. Like, you gotta kind of hold everything together. And, he came out and did the right thing and certified the election for Biden. And, he did the right thing and he was there for the inauguration. Like I said, it's not every president has ever gone. I mean, there is precedent for presidents not, being part of, or, being in good faith, or not even going to their, to their opponent's inauguration after they lost. Trump's not the first one. But I mean, he is the first one in like modern history, man. It's just become like a norm that's just what you do in this country. You lose and you open the door for the next guy or girl, right? And you make it as easy and, fair, and, you make it possible for them to transition as smooth as possible. And, I mean, there was none of that for Biden, you know what I mean? He had literally no transition contact with Trump at all. You know what I mean? He kind of, luckily, like I said, that's one of those things where it's kind of good that Biden has all these years in politics, because, I feel like in that kind of a situation, at least there's someone who understands the job and understands how it's done and's been around it, who knows what needs to get done and how to do it. And, that he didn't really need Trump, all things considering, to, get the transition going and get his, or have his way into the White House, make his way into the White House, I should say. But like I said, man, inauguration went good. It went pretty well. It was actually honestly, it was pretty inspiring at points. You know what I mean? Not because of Biden or anything that he said. It was like, to the people that said that Biden had a great speech, like, look, his speech was okay. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like some massive inspirational moment that's going to go down in the annals of history as, oh man, this moment of time of Biden's speech is representing a moment and a period in America. Like, no, man, it's just another inauguration speech. You know what I mean? Like, I still think Obama had a better one than both Trump and Biden. So, and probably the best one is, I don't know, who had the best inauguration speech? Is it FDR or JFK? Right into the show and let me know. And let me know who had the better inauguration speech. I'm curious to see what you guys think. I think I might roll with JFK on that one, with the ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. That might have been the best one, but I mean, maybe is Lincoln in the conversation? I mean, do we go back that far? How far back do we go, people? Let me know. But look, like I said, it was inspirational, but not because of Biden. I mean, it was nice to see, he gave a good speech, and, it was nice to see him and Kamala sworn in. Like, that was more inspirational, to be honest, that Kamala got sworn in, and then, her just making that history. And like I said, man, it doesn't really dawn on you at this moment that you're living through a historic moment. The first female vice president, guys, you're living through this moment. Like 20, 30 years from now, little grandkids are going to come up to you, with the history lesson of the day and say, hey, back in 2020, the first woman is the first time a woman, ever made it to the White House, in one of the executive roles, in this case being the vice president. But, it's going to be, when that happens, it's really going to hit you like, man, I remember that. I lived through that time. But look, man, I'm not naive, right? Like, I don't think, just because, Biden's in and Trump is out, Biden's on this whole unity kick that, Democrats and Republicans are suddenly going to come together and look past their differences and work together and get things done. And government's going to all of a sudden work the way it should be working and the way it's supposed to. Like I said, I'm not naive. But what I will say is that, it does, the fact that the Republicans, and that's what inauguration does. That's what it's for. It's that whether or not you lost or won, you swallow your shit for a day, and for like just one fucking day. Everybody's American, man. There are no teams. There are no red ties. There's no blue ties. There's none of this tribalism. It's just, look, we're all coming here regardless of what our political beliefs are to, recognize that this guy is the new president. And, that's just, that's the way our system works. Whether we like the outcome or not, we accept the new guy and move on from there, and then we take things one at a time. And what smart people do is judge every president based on their individual actions, not just on a blanket, I hate Republicans, therefore they can never do anything good, like red team bad, blue team good, blue team bad, red team good. Like, I don't roll like that, you know what I mean? And look, I think a lot of Republicans, honestly, even though they won't voice it in public, I think they were, I think secretly they were just ready to get rid of Trump and just move on from the Trump years. And the guy damaged the brand, man. He just came in and totally crippled and the Republicans, and left them in such a state of flux that they're pretty fractured right now. Like I said on the last show, man, they're as fractured as I've ever seen them. I've never seen the Republicans so ununified, right? In my entire life. Like, they've always seemed like the stronger party to me, and for the first time in a while, man, it seems to me like the Democrats are actually the stronger of the two parties right now. Who knows, that could change in the future. It usually does. Balance of power always kind of shifts in this country, so we don't know what we don't know, and we don't know how things are gonna go from here. But the Republicans, they just look crazy now. They look so crazy, man, and that's going to take a lot of time to fix, because all of them fell into this whole Trump, conspiracy nonsense, and not just about the election, but everything over these last 4 years. And it's just like, right now, man, it's like, I think a lot of people are recognizing, for the first time what their power in politics is. Like, you look at what happened in Georgia, you know what I mean? And Democrats won there, off of, doing a large part to people like Stacey Abrams and her efforts there and getting out the vote. And now people are seeing that, hey, if we really do this, we really take this stuff seriously, voting and registering and then getting other people to vote and, spreading the word, we can actually make some shit happen. So listen, man, like the most truest thing that Obama says, that he said during the, when he was on the campaign trail for Biden is just like, look, man, politics isn't about fixing things overnight. It's not about fixing things right away. It's about chipping away, every election little by little and not letting up. You know what I mean? Like, how we voted in this election is how we should vote in every election. In the primaries and the caucuses and the nomination process and the generals and the, on the non-presidential year elections. So it's just the way we should do it all the time, man. And, just briefly kind of just covering the inauguration, man, like, it was cool, man. Like, it was a nice ceremony, you know what I mean? Like I said, man, these Democrats, man, they really, if not for nothing, I mean, for whatever it's worth, these guys, they can bring out the stars and Republicans can't, you know what I mean? They brought out Lady fucking Gaga to sing the national anthem, which, by the way, she fucking killed it. You know what I mean? The national anthem is like one of the hardest songs to sing. It's not a great song, but I mean, it's the national anthem, and it's very, very hard to sing and make it, to sing it in like in a really beautiful way. And Lady Gaga like blew my socks off, man. Like, I knew she could sing, I knew she's a good singer, but when you can make the national anthem sound good, like, that's how I know you got pipes and you got a lot of talent. So, and by the way, I apologize if there's like a lag with the video. I'm not sure if you guys might see a lag every now and then. Like, I'm still, like I said, this is new to me. We just got the video, learning how everything's going and the setup and you know what I mean? It's just like, you got to get really techie with this shit. And this is just kind of like my first trial run, I would say. I mean, it's not really a trial because I'm recording the show, but hopefully the camera is looking okay on me. Like, I'm not, glitching out on you guys. If I am, I apologize. I'll work on it more towards the future. I'm going to keep working and getting this, podcast like running as smooth as possible and then making it look nice and legit for you guys to entertain you guys with. But, like I said, going back to the election, man, they had Lady Gaga, they had J-Lo who, she caused or there was supposedly some kind of controversy because she said something in Spanish, and it's like, dude, it was a total non-issue to me. I don't even feel the need to talk about it, other than just say that, they had J-Lo, they had these big names like Justin Timberlake and Bruce Springsteen and John Bon Jovi and the Foo Fighters and John Legend and who else was there? Demi Lovato and Katy Perry, who actually, man, if you guys saw the Katy Perry performance, it was pretty legit, man. Like, not a big Katy Perry fan, but I'm talking about when she performed her song for Biden at the inauguration. There was like this fireworks display, man, and it was fucking amazing. Like, go check it out on YouTube, man. Look at the Katy Perry singing at the Biden inauguration, and you'll see the fireworks show, man. It was legit. It was pretty cool. Like, I would like to be in person to see fireworks like that at some point in my life. You know what I mean? That was pretty fucking awesome, man. But like I said, man, these guys bring out all the stars, and it's just so funny that like 3 years ago Trump had who did he have? Kid Rock and Three Doors Down. Oh man, yeah, like I said, man, shit looks second rate if you bring out second rate people, man. So, at least for the Democrats' sake, they bring out the A-listers, man. But honestly, past all the celebrities, I thought who really was the show stealer to me was the that girl Amanda Gorman, who read that poem. She was the one wearing like the yellow. She was like wearing the yellow, right? And she had the red hairband thing, and she read the poem, and definitely, man. Again, her name is Amanda Gorman. I just followed her on Instagram on my personal page because, that's how inspiring I found her poem to be. It was very, very good, man. Go check that out. I'm sure it's all over the socials. I'm sure it's on her Instagram, on her social medias. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube, very easily. But Amanda Gorman, go look at her speech at the inauguration, man, and just clap for Amanda Gorman, man. Just that was a great speech / poem that she delivered, and man, she I'm definitely interested to see and what she's got going on, on her social. So go give her a follow, and I think she's on the Instagram, probably on the Twitter. I don't know. I'm not on the Twitter, guys. I'm only on Instagram mostly, and kind of half-assedly check Facebook every now and again. But I know she's on the Instagram, so go follow her there. And man, Trump was, he had to have been fuming with all these big names like fucking Tom Hanks and Eva Longoria and fucking Kerry Washington coming out there, and which brings a smile to my face to know that Trump is off, just mad, and he can't do anything about it. Like, he can't hold a press briefing now, he can't tweet about it, he can't, like, nobody cares, nobody wants to hear from that guy. Like I said, the losers, they go away, and what I mean, it's just, like I said, it brings a smile to my face, makes me kind of laugh a little bit. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm starting to rant a little bit. Like I said, this inauguration is finally done, thank God. The transfer of power is now officially complete. Joe Biden is the 46th president of the United States. Kamala Harris is the vice president, as I've said, and now hopefully we can get back to doing the work of America. And like I said, man, I hope Biden is a pretty boring president, all things considering. You know what I mean? It's a breath of fresh air to not have to constantly be hearing about what the fuck the president is doing today, and I can just kind of keep up with everything that's going on in like a good pace. You know what I mean? Because Biden's got some stuff going on, man, and then people need to be paying attention and seeing what's happening right now. Like, look, man, as far as Biden and his first week in office, man, I gotta tell you guys, like, you guys know I have my issues with Biden, with his past, his record on war, his possible corrupt dealings within his own family, and just a bunch of the shortcomings that he had in the White House when he was Obama's vice president. But look, man, I don't hate it by any means. I'm not hating what Trump is doing, or I'm sorry, what Biden is doing and has going on right now, man. Like, this guy came and hit the ground running pretty much, man. He like signed like 17 executive orders on the first day, you know what I mean? Like, and that was one of the things that I really, really appreciated to see, because there's always talk during every election, like, on day one I'm gonna do this, on day one I'm ready to work, on day one, and then very rarely does anything actually happen on day one. Day one is just kind of a party day because it's the inauguration, right? You get inaugurated, you have the balls and the parties and the performances and the concerts and the parades, and you guys know the whole deal. But it was nice to see Biden immediately got to work, and he signed a whole bunch of these executive orders, man. Just to, briefly recap some of them. He quickly, right away, rejoined the Paris Climate Accord, which, is fucking awesome. It's a good thing. You know what I mean? That's something that I voted for. Like, I'm voting for you because I think you'll get us back into this accord and take climate change serious, which he absolutely is. He's taken a whole set of series of actions on climate change. Joe Biden looks like he's going to take the climate thing serious. And honestly, man, like I said, it's a good thing. You know what I mean? That we're back in the accord. There's a lot of, it's obviously controversial with a lot of people on the right and the Republicans about, the terms of the agreement with, within the accords and what America's role within the accord is. But look, dude, it's the right thing. If not for nothing, America should be leading the charge to say that this is a global issue. It's not just affecting us here in America, it's affecting the whole world. Like, we're talking about the planet here. Climate change is real and we have to take it serious because guess what? Climate change is real and we have to take it serious. So why not vote for the person or the side that agrees with you on that and get stuff like this to happen? Because now that we voted for Biden and have him in the White House, now we're back in the Paris Climate Accord. And oh my God, for these fucking Republicans, man, who like Ted Cruz, who's such a fucking shill cuck of a politician, man, that he goes out there and says something as completely ridiculous as, this Biden getting us back in the deal shows that he cares more about the citizens of Paris than he does the citizens of Pittsburgh, which is like, weren't you the motherfucker trying to disenfranchise all the Pittsburgh voters like 2 weeks ago? Because they voted for Biden? Wasn't that you? But now all of a sudden you care about the citizens of Pittsburgh? And it's just such a stupid talking point because it's like, it's only called the Paris Climate Accord because that's where the fucking thing was signed. It's not a bill that's exclusively made for Paris. Or for Europe. It's, how many countries were part of that accord? How many countries signed on? I believe it was like all major countries except for 2. A bunch of smaller countries signed on. I mean, that was one of the most positive things that you can say that ever came out of the Obama administration. Obviously the economy and other things, but like, that's one of the big things that came out. You know what I mean? And Trump got us out. Biden put us back in. That's a good thing. You know what I mean? He also took, signed another executive order to stop the Keystone Pipeline, which, again, another good thing. And I love how this is being framed as, oh, look at Biden. He came and cost thousands of people their jobs and job killer, didn't even wait a day to come and cost people their jobs and put people out of work. Like, look, man, this is why things are so messed up right now, because people are so consumed with like headline media, right? That there's no context to their arguments. It's just like, oh, this person, my favorite media outlet like Fox News or this guy on OAN says that Biden cost, the number keeps changing. First it was like 5,000 jobs, and it was 10,000 jobs, and it was 25,000 jobs, and now it was like 50,000 jobs. I think the last number I heard was like Biden cost over 100,000 jobs with this Keystone action. It's just like, look, man, when you don't do research and you don't do your homework, you end up with stupid arguments like that, like really stupid arguments like that. And look, man, there is a lot of implications to what Biden did with the pipeline, right? But I believe it was the right move. And by the way, the man said he was going to do this. He campaigned on this very issue on climate change and saying that he was going to take it serious and that he wanted to move us away from oil into other cleaner alternative energies. And the man didn't lie. The Republicans right now, like, so upset, like, how dare this guy do exactly what he campaigned on and said he was going to do. And, look, man, the whole thing is controversial. Yes, look. Not saying that nobody's going to lose their job over this. Yeah, there's going to be some job loss, but turns out most of these jobs that, are going to be lost are potential jobs that haven't even been created yet. And most of them were temporary. Like, they were going to be seasonal. It was just going to be seasonal work to construct this fucking thing. And then these people, once it was done, they would have to go find new jobs anyway. Like, haven't you guys ever wondered how construction works? Like, they move on from one job to the next. This one don't work, or we finish this one, we moved on to the next one. So this whole framing of like, oh, Biden cost all these people their jobs. It's just like, yeah, you guys do realize that Donald Trump is leaving office with 3 million less jobs than he had when he came in. and that Obama, the Grim Reaper for you guys for 8 years, created more jobs than the jobs president. I mean, look, bro, like I said, I don't hate what Biden's been doing. Like, I don't hate it so far. You know what I mean? I don't love everything, but it's not a bad start. You know what I mean? It's a stronger start than most. You know what I mean? It shows some of the reasons why I voted for Biden. I mean, not to mention his immigration plan that he released. You know, Biden has, gave out his proposal for an actual immigration policy. It's like so nice to have someone in the White House that tells you what his plan is and tells you what, he shows you what he wants his version of the program or the reforms to be. This is my idea. This is where I stand. This is the Biden plan. So it's nice to see that. I don't even think we got that from Obama, so I mean, I know Obama tried to, get a reform or get an immigration reform deal done. And, he was just gridlocked by the Republicans that ran the Congress at the time, especially during his second term. So, you can't fully blame and put it all on Obama, the state of immigration and how bad it was when he was the president. It was like kind of a two sides to tango kind of thing. But look, man, with this Biden plan, I read some of it, and honestly, man, not bad. Not bad at all. An actual pathway to citizenship outlined. It said that it's like an 8-year pathway to citizenship, and there was like some grandfathering time in for people that have already been here, that were born that were brought here under a certain age before a certain time. And there's going to be protections for the DACA people and the dreamers, and that would help them. I mean, I believe there was a federal lawsuit in Texas actually where a Texas judge actually Biden had put a stop to a bunch of mass deportations, and the judge actually blocked Biden stopping the deportations. So as of right now, a bunch of these deportations are still going through, but Biden is the president, and when it comes between the states and the federal government is usually always going to win in most cases. And I'm sure if Biden's going to take this seriously, which it, all things considered, looks like he is, then this could be a really good thing. Obviously you guys know immigration is my top issue. I know it's not the top issue, but it's what's important to me. Fortunately, I'm not a single issue voter, so I don't vote just the guys in terms of that, but it is important to me. You know what I mean? It's important to me how we treat our immigrants, and how we approach our immigration system, and, like how we just treat people, man. It's just like, we're so caught up in labels and race and what side of the imaginary line that people were born on. And like, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm like for open borders and there shouldn't be a system and there shouldn't be security and, like that, we shouldn't have order. Like, I definitely think you have to have an order, right? But I just think we can have order and still be a more compassionate country, especially when it comes to immigration. We should be the lead example for the world. And like right now with immigration, we're a joke. So, I mean, other countries treat immigrants way better than we do. So I would like to see us kind of move the needle in that sense a little bit more. And there was even one thing that Biden, what's in his proposal, is that the White House wants to change the terminology. So you guys know that when we're talking about, one of the terms for, undocumented immigrants is illegal alien, right? Which, I mean, I don't know why we're called that. I've never seen a small green person in my entire life, but undocumented people are officially labeled as aliens, or illegal aliens, and Biden wants to actually change the official definition for undocumented immigrants from aliens to non-citizen. So I mean, look, it's a small change. It's a tweaking of the verbiage, but even that shows, man, where Biden is at with all this thing, with this whole thing, and wanting to move things forward, which is a good thing. Let's be more humane in our approach. Let's be more American in how we treat people, even though they weren't born here. Yes, like I said, we have to have order. There has to be a system. We have to secure the border. No, I don't think anyone's ever argued against a secure border. It's just like, what we were arguing is like, we don't want to blow the fucking budget on a 2,000-mile wall that nobody asked for, that's not really necessary, because that's not the main way that people are getting here. We know now that the majority of people that get to this country, get here on like work and visa permits and just kind of overstay their permits and never go back. That's the majority. And then, or I should say the majority of the cases. But look, man, again, all things showing why, I voted for Biden. A lot of good things so far. I like what I'm seeing. Hopefully, we keep it up. There's a lot of good things coming up. With the Democrats, they took over the Senate. Kamala becomes the president of the Senate. Bernie Sanders, my Theo Bernie, is going to become the Senate budget chairman, and he's vowing to use the reconciliation to move to get things done, which would only require a majority vote in the Senate. He wouldn't have to get 2/3 or 60 senators to sign on to certain things through reconciliation. And by the way, man, let me just point this out. Did you guys have a chance to look at all the Bernie memes? I mean, I'm sure everybody listening has seen these things by now, but oh my god, man, I got such a kick out of the fucking Bernie memes, man, with him, at the inauguration sitting with his mittens on, and all the fucking wild ones that I've seen, man, over the last week. It was, dude, they were fucking great, man. Thanks for everybody out there that sent me some of your own. I posted, if you guys go to our Instagram right here, you can see the ones that I posted. And yeah, dude, the fucking Bernie, I love my Theo Bernie Sanders, man. Like, that guy should have been the fucking president, man. It's a shame that I don't think he'll ever be president, because he just be too older at this point, but that guy, I'll always look back and say, my Theo Bernie, that guy should have been the fucking president, man. So anyway, getting back to it, like I was saying, man, look, the right, the Republicans, the conservatives, whatever you guys want to call yourselves, the Patriot Party, look, you guys can cry all day long that you want about, you need to respect the 74 million people that came out and supported Donald Trump. Okay, well, yeah, look, I understand that. I recognize that, 74 million is a lot of people, and they should definitely have their place and their say and how the government works and how we do things here. But let us not forget, 81 million people came out and voted for Joe Biden. 81 million people came out and rejected your way of governing, rejected your way of running politics, and they voted for the other guy because it was a complete rejection of you. And for the most part, you know what I mean? It's mostly a rejection of Trump. Like I've said, I have no shame in admitting it. It was definitely more of a rejection of Trump than it was a vote for Biden. But, like, this whole notion of we need to respect the other side because 74 million voted for Trump. Yeah, and 3 million more people voted for Hillary last time, but I don't remember you guys saying anything about that. And we should actually respect the Hillary voters, and we should understand that 3 million more people did vote for her. So let's focus on uniting the country and working together. There was never none of that. What was it during the Trump years? Trump 2020, fuck your feelings. Remember that? Well, now it's Biden 2021. So, with all due respect, if you don't like it, fuck your feelings. Win the next election, if you can. Unless you're going to break up that party even more and make it even easier for Biden. Make it easier for him. My guest. If Biden's going to continue to do things like what he's been doing, I have no problems with him staying in the White House. Now, look, Biden's first approval rating poll just came out, and he's polling in the 60 percentile. I believe it was 63%, as was reported by The Hill, that his first polling as president. Which, I mean, it's kind of funny because Trump never polled that high, even when he started. Like, usually presidents come in with high approvals, because the country wants to give him or her a chance. And then as you go, it kind of swings that poll back and forth. When they do good things, obviously the poll's going to get higher. When they do something, questionable, that poll's going to go down. So I expect to see that with Joe Biden. I don't expect him to hold that 63%, which, by the way, I mean, obviously given these last two elections, man, we know that the polls aren't completely, totally 100% reliable, right? If they, both times the Democrats underperform. So if they're saying right now it's 63%, it's probably more like 58, 59%, a couple percentage points down. But even that, man, higher polling than Trump ever got. I don't think Trump ever in any realistic poll ever crossed an actual 50% consistently. I don't even think he reached the 50%. I think his highest ever approval rating was like 46, 47%, something like that was at his highest. And when he left office, man, that guy left office with one of the worst approval ratings, if not the worst. I think it was like under 30. You know, it was like, we always wondered if he would get under 30, you know. Now we're wondering if he'll get to single digits, but guy went under 30% in his polling on his way out the door. So look, man, you know, Democrats are in control now, man. That doesn't mean that, you know, just because they have, you know, the White House and the Congress, that they can just kind of run roughshod and do whatever they want. You know, no, there's a political system in place, you know what I mean? And they can't do anything, obviously, unless, you know, they change the rules and do things like get rid of the filibuster in some cases, which honestly, I hope it's something that they do or would consider, you know, now that they have the power. And if they could get the votes to get rid of the filibuster, get rid of that fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of my political science professors called it talking a bill to death, which is essentially what it is. You know, it's like, what a cheap tactic to, you know, keep legislation from moving forward. You know, whether or not I like the legislation, that shouldn't be the way, that the Congress, you know, approaches it. So look, man, I like the approach of Joe Biden right now. And, you know, the other thing is just, it feels so awesome to say President Biden. And, you know, it feels even awesomer to say former President Trump. So just hearing those words, man, is like music to my ears. But you know, like I said, man, Biden and Harris, man, they've had a stronger maybe first week than probably even Obama had. You know what I mean? They definitely had a better first week than Trump did. And you know, like, that's why I said I'm very cautiously optimistic about the future, and especially with like getting rid of COVID, which you know, now we know that Trump never even had a real plan of how to deal with, you know, COVID and vaccine distribution. Like, they literally had no plan. They had no apparatus or even an idea in place for Biden to come in and say, you know, take over from here and make sure people get their vaccines, right? I mean, it's just such a joke, man. Such a joke, the way they, the state that they left the country in, man. And I, for one, am not sad to see them go. Very happy to see them leave. Hope the door don't hit you on the way out. But if it does, then, oh well. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cautiously optimistic with Biden right now. If he does something in the future that I don't agree with, then I'll come out here and say, hey, he did something I don't agree with, and I'll explain why I don't agree with it. But the next thing he's talking about, man, is, you know, passing another stimulus relief plan. And this one would include $1,400 checks, which also is a little bit of a controversy because a lot of these Democrats, if you remember, they ran on saying, you vote for us, we'll send you another $2,000 checks. And now it looks like, unfortunately, the Democrats are moving those goalposts a little bit, where now it's not like the $2,000. Now it's like, we're going to give you the 14 to match the other 600 we gave you. And then, you know, then that'll be a total of $2,000. But it's like, people, you know, you told people that you were going to give them two. So I hope that becomes, you know, more of a, you know, talking point and negotiation within the Congress, that like, hey man, we promised people two, we got to give them two. But I mean, let's be honest. If they make it 14, is anyone going to say, oh, I'm not going to take this because it wasn't the full two? No, man, you take what you can get, and you know, get the 14 now. Who knows? Maybe we get another few hundred down the road, and then things will even out. But look, man, a lot of people need help out there. A lot of people are hurting, and it remains to be seen how Joe Biden's going to do. And you know, like I said, if you guys listen to the show, know anything about me, have my own share of issues with Joe Biden, but he's never been the president, and now he's the president. So, you know, we will see where everything goes from here. But like I said, now I can at least breathe a sigh of relief knowing that Trump is out, adults are back in the room, and, you know, for the most part, like I said, I'm hoping to see what Biden does with this immigration thing, and I'm hoping that, you know, he continues on this path of really pushing for protections and a more humane approach, and you know, treating immigrants respectfully, and you know, a pathway to citizenship, man, which is right up my alley, man. That's kind of what I'm studying right now to do with my life. So yeah, man, like I said, hopefully this pandemic gets under control and we start providing some actual relief and some actual help to the American people. We got to support a lot of people, and we got a lot of things we got to tackle right now, and I can only wish this new administration luck, and see where we go from here. But let's go ahead and take a small music break, you guys. And then when we come back, what we'll do, we're not going to do listener questions this week just because, it's first time, doing the video, and, wanted to make sure I get this right. And plus, we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have a little tribute at the end of the show. But when we come back from the break, what we'll do is, we'll get into just some quick other headlines that are in the news, that have been in the news, from sports and entertainment, whatever's going on right now. We'll just give a brief run around a bunch of the headlines from the last couple of weeks, and after that we'll get into the tribute. So let's take that break, and we will be back more with the Battleborn podcast up next. So stay tuned.
Bye-bye, Donnie, your time is up, so you can take your lies and you can go get fucked. The people spoke and they spoke by mail, so pack your shit, cause it's time to bail. Sorry, buddy, but you lost it, mate, and like everything true, you'll call it fake. But who'd have thought you'd be such a wussy when America grabbed you by the pussy and threw you out after just one term, cause they finally realised that you're a germ. And COVID's not the only thing you spread, like lies, fear, hate, confusion and dread. And you told your own voters not to vote by mail in a global pandemic, and that was your fail. So shut up, Donnie, and practice what you preach. Have some dignity and give your concession speech. Just tell everyone it's a conspiracy. Blame your fall on American democracy. Make up excuses and a million reasons from your shitty press conference at the Four Seasons. Get out there and go tell more lies. Do what you do best and propagandize. No one's expecting you to be apologetic, but let me explain it using your logic. See, you find more COVID when you do more tests, and you find more results when more votes get read. It's crazy, but that's how counting works. I can show you if you want to share your tax returns. You'll be fine, old mate. You survived impeachment. You survived coronavirus by injecting disinfectant. You've had 6 bankruptcies and 2 divorces, 200 days of tax paid golf and golf courses. You survived the guilt of putting kids in cages and 26 sexual misconduct accusations. You've only got like 4,000 active lawsuits, so man up, Donnie, and hang up the boots. Fake news, fake hair, fake tan, fake smiles, fake offshore accounts in the Cayman Isles. You're a fake president with a fake first lady who's gonna take half of your fake ass money. And you finally succeeded in building your wall around the White House, and it's 10 feet tall. For someone who hates lockdown as much as you do, you were quick to lock yourself down in there, dude. Fake friends who used you to climb the ladder, and fake everything else that no longer matters. Fake supporters who piss on homeless people. You're the sworn enemy of the American eagle, cause you tried to fool the world with no regret, and you're in $900 million debt. On the down low, if you know what I mean, like your old mate, Jeffrey Epstein. Nah, you'll be fine, you've told 20,000 lies and 230,000 people have died, just like Daddy's money gave you your start. Daddy Bannon will give you a job at Breitbart, cause no one believes your bullshit rules, cause you're doing what you said you do when you lose. So see ya, buddy, you gave it a crack, and now even Fox News hasn't got your back. So sorry, old chum, but you're out of tricks, and you can suck 75 million dicks. The people voted someone else was hired, so sorry to say it, cunt, but you're fired.
Right, you guys, we are back, and like I said, what we're going to do very quickly is just kind of run through some headlines and the news that I've seen, just to give a quick discussion about a few of them. I won't spend too much time on a bunch of these, just kind of a quick recap before we end the show here, but just kind of looking around. We'll start with some sports news, actually. If you guys aren't aware, we finally have the Super Bowl set, and over there in the NFL, and it looks like we are going to get just an incredible matchup, man. We're going to get Tom Brady, which, obviously to me is the GOAT, the greatest of all time when it comes to football. He is going to go up against probably the best quarterback in the game right now, and Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs, man. Dude, like, this is gonna be a pretty great game, I think. My prediction is that I think the Chiefs are gonna win 41-34. I think they just have just a slight advantage of being the better team than the Buccaneers, who, I mean, dude, not for nothing. I mean, dude, this is like a new team kind of put together, and it kind of reminds me of what the Lakers did last season. You know, it's just like a new team of these guys coming together, and now they're playing for a fucking championship. So, very, very exciting matchup, man, to see Tom Brady go up against Patrick Mahomes. I know that's going to be the talk of the town when it comes to this Super Bowl, man, is those two guys going up against each other. But, yeah, man, I'm definitely excited to watch the Super Bowl. I mean, a bit disappointed because, you know, obviously my 49ers were in this game just one short year ago. And obviously, you know, it looked good for about 3 quarters until that damn Patrick Mahomes came and showed us why he's probably the best quarterback in the game right now, and unfortunately got that win on us. And then, you know, the 49ers would go on to crumble from that point, and, you know, we didn't even make it to the playoffs. So, you know, it was a huge drop-off, big disappointment for me. But like I said, we got this Super Bowl set, and, you know, in getting the Super Bowl set, man, it appears that Drew Brees, quarterback from the New Orleans Saints, is rumored to be announcing retirement soon. So it sounds like he's going to be hanging it up. If you guys remember on the social medias, there was this moment with Tom Brady after the game, and you know, it's just I think it kind of shows that maybe there was some kind of truth to the to the announcement or to the rumor mill that Drew Brees is deciding to hang it up. But we'll never know, you know what I mean? Like, you never know with these guys. Tom Brady is fucking 43 and he's in the fucking Super Bowl, so I'm sure maybe Drew Brees looks at that and is like, hey man, maybe I can give it one more old college try. So, you know, we'll see what happens. If he does end up retiring, man, then what can you say, man? Heck of a career, man. It was a hell of a run there in New Orleans, man. And he got that Super Bowl win. He did it against one of the all-time elite quarterbacks, Peyton Manning. And if you guys, I think that was like around 2009, 2010, one of those years when the Saints won the Super Bowl against Peyton's Colts at the time. I remember watching that fucking Super Bowl, and it was a really great game. Like, I remember, if you guys remember, coming back from halftime in that Super Bowl game, the Saints hit a onside kick, one of those onside kicks, right? And they recovered it to receive the ball for the second half, and it was all she wrote from there. It was a really exciting game, but anyway, I digress. Yeah, man, Drew Brees, if he ends up retiring, man, like I said, it was one hell of a career, and definitely, man, he's gonna go out as one of the best, and definitely surefire Hall of Famer. No doubt, with everything that he's able to do. I'm sure he obviously would have wanted to win one more, but still hell of a career, nonetheless. Other news going on, we'll switch over to the NBA world. Obviously, I just wanted to quickly comment on, I talked a little about this Brooklyn Nets team coming together. Now they got Kyrie back in the lineup, and gotta tell you, man, that team is really good. Still a little scary as a Lakers fan, to see Kyrie and KD and Harden dropping like 30 points each a night. And look, man, like I still give the advantage to the Lakers. I still think the Lakers got the better team. They got more depth, and they just like, I don't really see who can really take on LeBron in a 7-game series if LeBron has a good team behind him. You know what I mean? Like, it's a tall order for any team, to go up against LeBron. But, it's not impossible, obviously, to beat LeBron in the finals. So you never know, man. So, yeah, definitely as a Lakers fan, I look at these Brooklyn Nets, man, and I just got to say, these Nets, they're the real deal, man. The real fucking deal. So be on the lookout for them. Lakers are looking pretty good. They actually just fucking lost today to the fucking Philadelphia 76ers on a road game. So it's our first official road loss of the season. I think we were like 10-0 going into this one. So now it's 10-1. So a little blemish on the record, but I believe we're still first in the West, and it's par for the course. You win some nights, you lose some nights, and we lost tonight, and we'll see if we bounce back in the next game. But other news going on, in the boxing world, if you guys haven't heard, Ryan Garcia has announced. Well, it's kind of weird with Ryan Garcia, because I thought he was supposed to fight Mayweather's boy. I think that's what we talked about. He was gonna fight that Tank guy, right? He was gonna fight Gervonta Davis, And I don't know if that fight's still going to happen, but now it's being announced that he's going to fight Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is just a rumor mill or if he's just using Pacquiao's name to kind of bring attention onto himself and, bring some more eyeballs onto himself, because, you know what I mean? Like, you mentioned Manny Pacquiao in the boxing world and you're going to get some people's attention. But Ryan Garcia, man, who just had that great win over Luke Campbell, that comeback win that we talked about here on the show, man, he is put on his social media that, it was kind of a vague message with a graphic of him fighting Pacquiao, saying like dreams come true and that he was going to fight Pacquiao. And hey man, I haven't heard anything officially announced. Like, I won't believe it unless I hear it from like Pacquiao's people or Pacquiao himself, and then I'll be like, damn. But I mean, my prediction for that fight, man, is I see a towel flying, from Ryan Garcia's corner, probably by round 3 or 4, man. Like, look, man, Ryan Garcia has shown me that he's serious and he's the real deal, and he's nothing, he's nothing to take lightly. You know what I mean? Especially with that last fucking win, man. That was really impressive. I think he put a lot of doubters on notice. But I mean, dude, to make that big leap against Pacquiao, I mean, I hope he feels ready and comfortable with that, because, like, I'm guessing that, my prediction is if Pacquiao comes and approaches this fight seriously and comes at it full force against this dude, Ryan Garcia, like, I like Ryan Garcia's boxing game, but, dude, it's Manny fucking Pacquiao, dude. He's one of the greatest of all time. Like, he's a Hall of Famer, he's a surefire Hall of Famer himself. So, dude, Manny Pacquiao, Pac-Man is the real fucking deal, man. And if that fight ends up happening, then, you know what, Ryan Garcia, best of luck to you, man. But, got to pull for my man Pac-Man on that one. And he's also talked about, giving up boxing altogether, and that he was going to make this switch over to MMA, and that he wanted to fight Conor McGregor, which, I mean, Conor McGregor himself just had a loss, and he lost to Dustin Poirier in that fight over the weekend. Unfortunately, I like Conor. I'm a Conor McGregor fan, and I was kind of pulling for him in the fight. I assumed that he was going to win. I had no idea that it was going to end as quickly as it did, and Conor just didn't look that great in the fight. He attributed his loss to a lot of time off, which, I mean, he did take a lot of time off, man. He took a lot of time off, and like any professional athlete will tell you in any sport, you take too much time off, man, it does nothing to benefit you. You know what I mean? It's not good to take time off and then try to jump right back into it at 100%. So, maybe, but I mean, Conor gets kind of, with me, the benefit of the doubt on that, just because, he beat this guy before, right? Like years ago, he beat this guy, back in his younger days. And I think, honestly, that plus I think Conor didn't approach this fight as, as seriously as he should have, all things considering. I think he might have thought that it was going to be an easier win for him, and then, his calf gave out and took a bunch of shots to the face, and it was a referee stoppage. And I mean, hey man, we'll see what happens. But if Ryan Garcia, like, if he does switch over to the MMA and then gets into the UFC, yeah, I don't think Conor is the right first fight for anybody. Nobody should go from 0 to 100 real quick like that. And in a combat sport, like, I mean, would Ryan Garcia come in on day 1 and fight Floyd Mayweather? No. So you don't fight Conor McGregor on day 1. You know what I mean? That's just, you just don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to go to MMA, fine. You're young and you have, abilities, you have talent, you can fight, you can throw hands. If you want to mix it up with mixed martial arts and try to, conquer 2 sports, man, do that. It's all on you, man. No one's stopping you. But you got to work up the system the right way, man. It's just like with boxing. You don't go up against Mayweather in your first fight. You start small and you work and build a name for yourself, and you work your way up to better ranking opponents. More legitimately composed opponents. Former champions like a Conor McGregor or a Floyd Mayweather. So, hey man, speaking of Mayweather, he actually did speak on the whole Conor McGregor controversy. Not so much about the fight that he lost, but Mayweather said something along the lines of like, you really think about it, he and McGregor are kind of the same person, just doing different sports, but they kind of present themselves in similar ways. So Mayweather was bringing up the question, why is it that I'm looked at as, I'm looked at negatively, and Conor McGregor is looked at positively, when we're kind of essentially both the same, we're playing the same kind of character, right? And he was just, Mayweather was attributing this to racism and said that this is a racial issue. And that, because Mayweather's black, Conor McGregor's white, Conor McGregor gets the benefit of the doubt that Mayweather doesn't get. And, it got me thinking, man. And, I think Mayweather brings up a valid point here. He makes up a good point. Like, I don't know how much of this is based off racism, but it does seem to be like a racial component to it. You know what I mean? So, hey man, that is a good question to have. We should have the discussion. Let's have it in the social, or the emails. Let's talk about it. Do you think there's any truth to Mayweather's notion that he and Conor McGregor receive kind of different treatment in regards to how they're portrayed in the media based on their race? Because do you see them as kind of a similar person? Are they different people? Or like I said, do you agree with Mayweather? Hit me up and let me know. And just to get into the last few little quick tidbits here, I did want to bring this up because, it's kind of a Spotify story. And you guys know, obviously, the Battleborn podcast is found on Spotify. And Drake, man, the rapper Drake, man, he just broke the all-time Spotify streaming record, man. The guy just hit 50 billion Spotify streams, man. And so many people are just so numb to information that they hear that and they're just like, I think people just kind of shrug it off like, oh, cool for Drake, 50 billion streams. But dude, when I heard this, I was just like, my mind was blown, bros. Like 50 billion streams on Spotify. Like, do you understand how ridiculous that is? That's more fucking streams than people, that are in the world, and multiple times over. And man, dude, fucking Drake, 50 billion streams. Like, I don't have too much commentary on this. I just wanted to point it out and just to say, like, hey man, props to Drake, dude. 50 billion streams, again, that's nothing to thumb your nose at. You know what I mean? That is a very, very big accomplishment. I like Drake, the person. I liked him when, he was Jimmy Brooks on Degrassi, and, I like some of his music, but I'm not the ultimate biggest Drake fan. Like, I don't listen to everything he does, and I don't follow his every move, but I find Drake to be a pretty cool guy, man. He's a fairly good rapper, better than most of them, probably better than all of them, in this generation. Drake is definitely gonna go down as probably the face of like hip hop and rap music of this last decade, right? From like the 2010s to like today. Dude, I mean, you probably put Drake at the top of that list in terms of like sales and recognition and fame and, all that stuff. So he's definitely at the top of the list. But yeah, man, like I said, 50 billion streams. Whew. I mean, that is nothing to scoff at, man, and that's pretty cool. And yeah, man, last thing I just wanted to bring up before we get into the last part of the show is next week I'm going to be bringing on a guest on the podcast, my good friend Jason Martinez, who's he's a real estate man. He knows all things real estate. He just started his own business, and I find Jason to just be like, I find him really interesting because, he's so like inspirational and like he motivates himself, and, he started his own business and he just kind of pursued his dream, and didn't take no for an answer. And I think there's a lot of things we can learn from him on that front, and as well as, some maybe tricks of the trade, traits on real estate, which obviously, real estate is important to most adults at some point in their life. So definitely going to be asking him a ton of questions about that, and hopefully we can all learn something new and find something from Jason that's going to, help us, find some inspiration and some motivation in life to chase our goals like he does. So, like I said, my friend Jason Martinez will be on the show next week. At Homes with Jason is where you can find him on the social medias. Can't wait to get into that. Shout out Jason. And like I said, finally, you guys, this is usually the part of the show where, we get into the listener questions for the week. I take listener questions on the email, and, you guys can obviously send them right there. But what we're going to do this week is we're going to do something a little different. As you guys know, we are, celebrating a couple of lives that were lost this week. First one being Larry King, who was just a broadcasting legend. I posted a small tribute to him on the Instagram. But look, man, Larry King was like, he should be like what journalism should be today. Or I'm sorry, he was what journalism should be today, where it's a guy who, like, you never really knew what side he was on, and I always think that makes for a good journalist. You don't know where they stand. They're just giving you the facts. And his countless interviews and all the people that he spoke to and his style of doing interviews, I think was just something to be really revered. And, he's just a staple in the game, man. Like any of you guys out there, with your own podcasts, or if you want to get into broadcasting or journalism or radio, right? You should look to a guy like Larry King as an example of someone that did it and did it in the right way and did it on their own terms and loved every minute of it. So very quickly, I want to play you this quick little clip from Larry King, and go ahead and take a look.
It's not very often in my life I've been without words, but I want to thank everybody associated with this program, all the people behind the scenes, as I mentioned, Wendy and the staff, the floor people, everybody who makes it possible, even the suits at the top. I love them too. When I started 25 years ago at a little studio in Washington, D.C., I never thought it would ever last this long or come to this. So I'm going to go on, do a lot of other things. We're going to do specials here on CNN. I'm going to be seen in other places. Do some radio work, be around baseball. So you're not going to see me go away, but you're not going to see me here on this set anymore. For 2 weeks, they're going to be playing highlight shows. I don't know what to say except to you, my audience. Thank you. And instead of goodbye, how about so long?
Wow, man. It's a living legend, Larry King. Rest in peace, man. Like, thank you for everything that you did, for this business and this, format of speaking and communication. And, like I said, man, anybody who's doing something like this or similar, or, whatever your, broadcasting goals are, whether it's, making it up to mainstream journalism or you're streaming on the internet, like, you should know that, those doors might have not been open if it wasn't for a guy like Larry King. So definitely wanted to give it up to him. And last thing for the show is, obviously this week we are celebrating the 1 year anniversary of the tragic death of Kobe Bryant, who, a little bit, personal history with this show. If you guys go back and listen to the first episode, it was kind of focused on, Kobe Bryant and, his tragic death. And how I felt about it, because, obviously, and you guys know me, you guys know that I'm a huge Lakers fan, all Lakers, everything, all Lakers all the time. And that is because of Kobe Bryant, man. I became a fan of his when I was a young kid. I don't even know how old I was, maybe 10 or 11 or something like that, when, like, the first time I, saw this Kobe guy, and I'm just like, dude, this guy's really fucking good, but I mean, I just followed him ever since that point, and throughout the years, I just became a huge Kobe fan, and, I followed him heavy, and I was a big supporter of his career, and followed him even, in his post-career, and supporting everything that he was doing. And, tragically, he died and passed away, last year in that helicopter crash, last January. And man, it's just crazy how fast a year will go by. It really is. One day, someone you look up to, like how I looked up to Kobe, is here, and, the next day he's not. So, what I wanted just to do to end the show, instead of doing the listener questions like I normally would this week, is put together a little something here and show it to you guys to end the show. It is our tribute here on the podcast to Kobe Bryant. And just to say, man, as a fan of his for so long throughout all these years, to say to you, not because I knew you personally, obviously I didn't, just like I said, as a fan, someone who admired you from afar. This is just my way of saying thank you for the years of memories that I won't soon forget.
thanks for all you've done. I've missed you for so long. I can't believe you're gone. You still live in me. I feel you in the wind. You guide me constantly. I never knew what it was to be alone, no. 'Cause you were always there for me. You were always waiting. But now I come home and I miss your face so. Smiling down on me, I close my eyes to see, and I know you're a part of me, and it's your song that sets me free. I sing it wild, I feel I can't hold on. I sing tonight, 'cause it comforts me. Memory of the one that was so true. You were as kind as you could be, and even though you're gone, you still mean the world to me. I never knew what it was to be alone, no. But you were always there for me. You were always waiting. But now I come home and it's not the same, no. It feels empty and alone. I can't believe you're gone, and I know you're a part of me, and it's your song that sets me free. I sing it wild, I feel I can't hold on. I sing tonight, 'cause it comforts me. I'm glad he set you free from sorrow. I'll still love you more tomorrow.